2008, where you had Manchester United play Chelsea in the final. Players' emotions and feelings, and they are for you to control. It's not acceptable for him to have acted the way he did, and yes, the punishment is justifiable. Whether Jose Mourinho would have issues about it, yes, he will. He's short of manpower, and if you are going to do that, I don't really see it as I think it has to do with that. It's not going to affect any of them. It's just what will affect is who is doing.
All right, no problem. We'll be back. Let's quickly go on a commercial break. It's
on the local flight across the just or affordable prices. Join the ride today. And yes, visit the flight office for all local flight tickets at 64946 or 070-290-48519.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. Rangers have agreed to pay a sum of 20 million naira to the family of George. It begs the question, are we really insured, or are the players in Nigeria, are they insured? Considering what the European counterpart...
The answer to that is certainly no. Define George, may he so rest in perfect peace. I think that the story of football pundits who really love it actually something Rangers to think that we tried the MPFL also, that's the LMC now, the management company, coming up to do some structuring, and we hope that will see the light of the day, that players will begin to sign contracts that would involve the contracts are. I think it's time for us to start signing professional contracts. If we call it a professional league, we should do things professionally. In short, who have been shot, who have had some other issues, it is important for us to insure our players.
It is very important that we insure our players. All right, let's look at the National Women Football League. They've decided to scrap the 2019-2020 season. Good step moving forward.
Perfect. We are in the country that still fight about whether we should have the MPFL come back. And for the Women's League, I think it's a good step in the right direction. Kudos to Aisha Falude and her entire team. But the big question now will be, considering CAF's new regulation to have the CAF Champions League for the women starting from next season, so we need to produce a representative, and there have been talks about arranging the league now, running it in a straight format. I hope it's actually some of us have questioned and said, are we really ready to have this tournament at the continent? But some other people have queried us and said, maybe the innovation of this CAF Champions League for the women will make the leagues better in all the countries in Africa. Whether that will work, it's yet to be seen. But I think it's a step in the right direction, and I hope that we're able to run the league successfully, and so that we can have a representative on the continent come 2020-2021 season.
Let me bring you in on this now. The men league, both locally and internationally, by international I mean CAF and all that, they have problems with finances.
Yeah.
So where do you think the women league will be backed financially?
Well, I think that the World Cup that was held in France last year, 2019, is beginning to shape the fulcrum of female football. The wave, the look at the TV audience that we're watching, the followership is great, and I think that's the fever that is spreading to Africa. So yes, it's going to be challenging in the first few years, considering it's new to us here in terms of money and everything. But we're just hoping, these are things so that we don't play the devil's advocate. We're hoping that we begin to see football as big business, and not just doing it because we have to have a league and keep running it, and have the enabling environment for private individuals to come in and to be able to invest in the league. If we want it to be profitable, we need to get the private hands also in deck, but you have to have a level playing field, not that people put their money where their mouth isn't. So we're hoping that it gets well, but it is the structure that we will make these things work. It's not just enough to say we want to have a CAF Champions League for the female. We're still struggling with the male version, but let's not use that as a yardstick to deprive the female. I think they long deserve it. They've been doing so well on the continent, especially for Nigeria, who has dominated on the African continent scene. But I think that structures are needed so that we can advance this course.
Structures are needed so that we can advance all our courses. All right, Sheyi, let's look at the US Open. There have been talks on whether it should continue or not, and now one of their foremost tennis player, Alem, has said she's not comfortable playing for
case in Belgrade where Novak Djokovic and his friends were infected, although those ones really didn't take to question social distancing. So yes, Simona Halep has a point by raising her own fears. I think the only people who can allay her fears has to be the organizers and Europe, considering some parts of Europe has been worst hit, some other parts haven't. So whether it be tennis or whatever it is important to note that the virus doesn't really look at whether it's a contact sport or not. It's just about people coming together, and it could actually be transmitted. So yes, tennis players are actually showing that they really want out the measures. I think maybe they should not have fans there. Maybe to help.
At the end of the day, tennis players are only humans. All right, time is running out real quick. Sheyi, let's quickly run down to England.
Okay.
Controversial decision yesterday, a very big decision. In fact, it was a turning point again in the match against Arsenal and Leicester. Should Nketiah have seen red? Should Vardy have seen red? Now you're going to be my VAR for today.
You want to put me on the spot. I've told you how I don't like VAR and how I love the
that
human.
That is why I'm making you VAR.
No, don't make me VAR. You know Jose Mourinho, let me take his words. He'll tell you the referees are up there. The real and the one that Nketiah's tackle for me, very sad. Coming in just I think that should be like his first contact, and he was sent off. And for me, I think it's a red card, even though Vardy too should have seen a red card in that game. But I don't know why we have VAR and it cannot be able to check, because the essence of having VAR, basically the video assistant referee, is to be able to assist the referees, because they have to make quick decisions once the attack or whatever happens. They are able to make that decision. So but with VAR, it helps the referee to either to ascertain the level of his decision, whether he's right or wrong. Still holding that top four with a very thin thread, because if Manchester United wins tomorrow, they will be good.
So let's just use it to analyze matches. Manchester City, Newcastle United, what are you expecting?
Very cagey fight. Like with the stories about Newcastle having a takeover, a lot of people are saying they might be the new Manchester City when you have oil money flowing in that direction. It's been quiet anyway, but Newcastle has been in good form through the restart. Man City has been struggling, and I think that they're very important they have that game.
Man City to win that game.
They are trying to gather points, so that I think that this game may end in a draw.
What do you think?
West Ham wins today. Danny Welbeck. Watford beats Norwich in that relegation water, which they are part of, get the result. But if West Ham gets the result,
Barcelona and Espanyol. In Syria, real quick, Napoli, Genoa.
Napoli should win this one.
Napoli should win this one. Straightforward, yeah. Atalanta, Sampdoria.
Atlanta. They are the team in form.
The team in form.